Today, I'm pleased to be joined on the line by Kathy Barthel, President and CEO of Take on the World. Kathy makes it easier for people to appear in front of cameras and make life fun and enjoyable. A pleasure to have you, Kathy, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Richard. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Can you just provide us with a brief overview of your business on Take on the World and why you commenced your own business?
Well, I started Take on the World because I come from a media background, from television, from journalism, and things were a little slow. I mean, our industry's been hit by downsizings and mergers since
Yes.
for the year 2000, actually. We were in the vanguard of that, if such a thing is something to be praised. But yeah, I was looking around and thinking, maybe this is my opportunity to do something with all the different background skills that I have and kind of create something that really lights me up, that gives me the ability to draw on my TV background, both on camera and in producing, the writing, the editing, all of that in a way that can really, in particular, help women. I mean, I have had certainly, male clients
Yes.
too, and I love helping
Yes.
them, but there was just something really driving me to do that. Yeah.
The name of your business is so inspirational. Take on the World. How was this name conceived?
Well, it's a good question. This goes back to before I had my business, and I had started a personal blog called Bratty Kathy. And the whole thrust of that was that a brat is someone who stirs things up,
You're
to be
right.
heard,
Yes.
to
Yep.
make a difference, and to have a
Ah,
little fun, right?
okay.
And the first person that I worked with, a coach, a business coach, when it was coming up time to create the name for my business, she said, "Why don't you call it Take on the World?" And I said,
Mm,
"Why?" And she said, "Because you're always saying that you want to inspire women to be brats so they can take on the world."
okay.
So
Interesting.
there you go. Yeah. And
We,
also,
we all,
Richard, hmm?
we all know today that, many are using videos as a way to, to generate brand awareness and to get their message across to people.
Yeah.
So why is it so important to have a strong brand presence and message when you are creating your own, videos?
Well, for your business, for your videos, it's critical because, as you know, we respond initially emotionally to somebody before we make that intellectual decision to buy or to work with someone. And having that strong presence is about putting who you are out there, and you really function like a lighthouse light, drawing in the ships. And in this case, you draw in the ones that are the best fit. This
Mm,
is something really important. A lot of entrepreneurs think, oh, I'll, cast a wide net and I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want to leave money on the table. But the whole point of a strong brand presence is you are staking your claim. You're saying, I'm this, I'm not that, right? And the stronger
yes,
and clearer that presence is, the more you're going to attract the clients that are the right fit. And in fact, you don't have to worry about the tire kickers and the ones that don't fit because they're not going to be drawn
exactly.
to you.
So as we all know that so how do you help your clients overcome because we all understand many people hate being on camera, including myself. So how do you help your clients overcome this fear of being on camera?
Well, it's interesting. One of the things that we are to make people feel better about this, what we are actually all afraid of is something called, and I wrote this down so I don't, even though I teach this, scoptophobia. Have you ever heard of scoptophobia?
No, I have
It's the
not.
it's the fear of being watched, right?
Okay.
This is
Oh,
wired into us,
right.
into me and you, right? Everyone who's ever lived, because of course, if you're being watched, chances are it's not good. Somebody's maybe going to do you some harm.
Yeah,
And then that translates to the camera because we have this
of
fear
course.
of the old virtual tomatoes coming at us.
Right.
So it's wired in. But what I say to people, number one, is to plan ahead, right? Get your background, your lighting, all of that set up. This is your
Yes.
branding. If you look at my website, you'll see this. Get that sorted, get all of that done, and then spend some time to breathe, right? Do the breathing in, count to 5, breathe out, do that. And one of the tips, Richard, that I use all the time to clients is once you've got all that done, remember that you're the host. When you have people over, and we're all going to be doing more of
Yes.
that
Yes.
these
Yep.
days, it's that person that's standing on the other side of your door. You've got yourself ready, the drinks are out, the
That's
food's
right.
out, you're ready.
Yes.
Everything is focused on them. If you can think about that when you're going on camera, get
Okay.
get over, worrying about you. Everything is fine. It's about focusing on that person and thinking, I really love what I do and I so want to help you. And I'm going to give you this tip on camera or whatever I'm sharing with you because I really want to help you. I want to move you forward. And if you can get your head, it's kind of a head game, but if you can practice those things and get that way, nobody cares if you make the odd mistake. Nobody wants you to be perfect. They want you to be human, right?
Yeah, and it's also, we understand that the average consumer has an attention span of approximately 8 seconds. So that just also, especially when it comes to video, that also emphasizes the need again to create that memorable impression when you're doing your videos or you're on camera.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, in fact, you actually, Richard, you only have about 3 seconds.
Okay, wow.
Add a little more stress here.
3, wow, there you go.
But the thing is, this is something that I teach, and you hear this if you're in marketing, you probably know the term, the hook, right? You want to grab people's attention in those first 3 seconds. And I teach people this. It can be your wording. It can be, using a little prop, whatever it is, you're going to grab their attention and get them engaged. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. But of course, that has to be aligned with what the message of your video is. It's not the old bait and switch, right? You don't want to be leading them in for nothing. But there are ways to do that. And part of it is to get yourself relaxed, as I said, but also another tip, before you actually go on camera, while you're counting down and breathing, what I want you to do is think about something that makes you smile, right? Doesn't matter what it is, happy memory, whatever it is, and be smiling before you go on camera. That's huge for welcoming people in that critical 3 seconds, in addition to whatever else you're doing, because it's your energy people pick up on, right? And
exactly.
When that is aligned with whatever fun, interesting, intriguing thing you're going to say or do, they're like, oh. Somebody that I know said that someone she knows calls this the peeling the carrots moment. You're in the kitchen making dinner and you hear something and you run back, oh my goodness, what was that? What was that?
Yes.
That's what you want to get in that moment. And it's totally doable and it's fun.
Okay, yeah. No, I can relate to that. When I was interviewed on BNN Bloomberg, I was so nervous to be live on TV camera.
Yes.
And it was like, next thing you know, it's like, it's over. What do you mean it's over? We just started, didn't we just start 30 seconds ago?
Yes, exactly. And you were warmed up and ready to go.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Can you tell me a little more about you made mention of this, or the Brat Show, and your nickname Bratty Kathy.
Yeah. The Brat Show is something that actually is, it's a show that I do on YouTube. And BRAT is an acronym, and it stands for bold, relevant, addictive, and transformative. Bold as in, this is geared, Richard, primarily to women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So bold is about owning who you are and what you do, regardless of pushback.
Yes.
Being relevant is creating meaningful content and experiences. Being addictive means you're leaving them wanting more. And of course, transformative means you are disrupting the status quo to create positive change. And this is aligned with even what I teach on video, right? It's about when you own this, whether you're putting it on camera or it's in your business, your audience, they've got products they're putting on shelves, they're trying to get something out there. You got to own what makes that different, right? You got to lean into that, and then everything lines up, and then you're already producing something relevant and interesting that's going to make people find you addictive. I got to buy that product again. I love that. I love that experience I get, right? And we all start as entrepreneurs because we want to make change, right? We want to do something different. We're not satisfied with status quo.
So that was an acronym for the name of BRAT. I like that.
Thank you.
Just like do you know the acronym for the word fear?
Yes. Tell me again. Something isn't here yet. What is it?
Failure expected and received.
Oh, that's different than I thought. Oh, I've heard of one that's more of a positive spin.
Okay.
But I can't remember.
This one is a positive step, really. So you're saying, if you're fearsome, it means you're expecting failure. So
yeah.
So can you tell? Let's it's interesting. So let's have maybe a couple of success stories that you can share with us on how you brought people out of their the desire to now want to appear on camera more.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of a particular individual that I worked with, and he came originally from a corporate background. And then he was moving into his own business and doing trainings for various groups in
Yes.
corporate. And he actually said to me that one of the things he really wanted to do was to be able to connect emotionally with people on the other side of the lens, because he knew he tended to be kind of reserved, and he'd come from
Yes.
corporate. And there's a bit of a leap of faith there when you go onto camera, when you really he'd never done video before.
Yes.
And he particularly wanted to do videos that he could send in emails to clients, like little quick short ones. And one of the things that I teach is how to do a 30-second video, particularly a tip video. You can put it on LinkedIn, of course, you can put it in an email and TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
And it's really smart to be able to learn to write tight and short, because then you can always, as in a script,
Yeah.
and you can always build on that. And it's a good skill for entrepreneurs to have in video. So it was wonderful because he ended up being able to learn how to sort of increase his energy level, if you like, because the thing about camera is it exaggerates everything. So if you are a pretty chill, laid back person, it's kind of going to exaggerate that to your detriment, because you're not going to come off, very energized and so on. So he learned how to do that. He learned how to use a smile. It seems like something we'd expect, but
Yes.
oftentimes you sit and you listen to someone talking and you don't have any expression on your face.
Yes.
And as soon as you get a little warmth in your eyes, people are like, oh, and they start to engage. And he learned some of these things about going on camera. He learned how to write. He learned the importance of the hook. And at the end of it, he also learned how to have a strategy moving forward, so that he could say, okay, I'm going to post this kind of video this frequently. This is what I can do, because that was obviously a really important piece of the training was, this is great, Kathy, but how do I move it forward?
Yes.
So so at the end of it, he said, I have everything I need now to start doing these videos. We worked on his background as well.
Yes.
His background set, so to speak, was completely changed. That was another big piece that we did, and his lighting and so on. So that's the kind of thing that gets me excited, because I don't know if I don't think I did, but the whole thing about Take on the World from the outset, I even started as a copywriter, because I have this two sides of my skill set, the writing and the strong visual. And it's always been about helping people get their voice out, get their presence out, and really connect. And I kind of get goosebumps thinking about that with clients, because seeing that transition, it's doable for anybody, no matter how fearful you are about camera, how reserved you are. It's about being who you are. It's not about being someone different than who you are.
This has been a lot of fun, because I really, really believe that it's the major issue a lot of people have is appearing in front of cameras, regardless. And we all recognize, again, the power of YouTube video and as you mentioned, TikTok. So thank you again, Kathy. So just what is the best way for anyone to make contact with you?
Yeah, the best way probably is through LinkedIn. If you go there to my contact, you can book a 15-minute call with me, or you can email me, or just send me a message on LinkedIn and say that you want to connect and you saw this interview. I would love to chat with anybody who's interested in this, who wants to sort of move things forward, who's just curious about video, because in a 15-minute call, we can do a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you again to Kathy Barthel for being our guest. And if you're a food manufacturer seeking distribution in Canada's grocery sector, please visit our website, www.fooddistributiongui.com. Thank you again, Kathy.
Thank you so much, Richard. It was great.